It's time for the Rick Smith Show. Now, here is the voice of the working class, Rick Smith.
And welcome, brothers, sisters, working class heroes. This is the Rick Smith Show. Thanks so much for being here today on the big program. Lots to get to, lots to talk about. Oh, woke up today to a burning Christmas tree. Evidently, the Fox News Christmas tree, the artificial tree that they didn't get a flame retardant tree, which you go, okay. But evidently, the tree ablaze. I guess a homeless guy, they're claiming, possibly. Or no, wait a minute, it was Joe Biden. It was Joe Biden who burnt down the tree in his spare time, of course. But hey, that was the news I woke up to, the burning tree. And immediately my mind went to this place of, is it a sign? Is this a sign of where we are? Is this, if you're buying the Christian nation thing, is this a sign from above? Hey, bad, repent, do something? No, that's not how the Christians took it. No. It's not how the GOP took it. No. It's all Joe Biden's fault. Ronna McDaniel, the RNC head, she said, look at your Christmas tree that was just burned down. This is a huge problem for Democrats. Because it was the Democrats who burnt down because they hate Christmas. Remember, Democrats hate Christmas, or at least that's what we're led to believe. And yet, oddly enough, I don't know many Democratic representatives or Democrats who pose in front of their Christmas tree with their armed clan, with their AR-15s for the holiday of the birth of Jesus. Just kind of bizarre. The pacifist Jesus. Would Jesus be packing heat today? Would he be walking around sporting an AR-15? I seriously doubt it. But here we are in this moment. And look, Republicans not letting a good crisis go to waste. It's all the Democrats' fault. It's their fault that the tree was burning. And of course, the tree was burning because Republicans are better on the economy, inflation, and crime, according to Ronna McDaniels. And this is the thing that gets me. You'll watch Fox News long enough. It really all is just kind of talking points and regurgitating nonsense. Where if you sit back and you go, wait a second, what are you talking about? How do you come to, how does A get to B? How do you draw that line? Well, they do some mental gymnastics. They do a little, they lie. That's probably the easiest way I can put it. And look, all day, all I saw today, and this is why I have open direct messages, because I love hearing crazy people say crazy stuff. Cons are losing their mind over the burning bush. And as I said, maybe it's a sign. Now, here's what I wish. I wish they would show this kind of passion and anger and this kind of willingness to act over what happened on January 6th. I wish there was this kind of fervor to save democracy, to save our nation from, these people. The folks who are not taking the sign of the burning tree. It's just crazy. And I wish they would take this kind of initiative in helping to fight things that really matter, like figuring out how we stop the virus from transmitting even more, how we stop people from dying. Maybe just a thought. And I know Marjorie Taylor Greene said 600,000 people a year die from cancer, and we don't shut anything down from cancer. But Marjorie, even you have to be smart enough to realize that you can't walk into a room and catch cancer from someone else. Even you have to be that smart. Okay, maybe I give her too much credit. Maybe I've gone too far. I sense I've gone too far on her intelligence. And what's interesting is, I was just watching clips of her before the show, going on about how the January 6th rioters are being treated poorly in prison. And how their race is being used against them in prison, and how they're being forced to do some really bizarre stuff that's just not true. They're being forced to eat gluten food. And you go, yeah, you're bread and water. That isn't that what prison's supposed to be? Isn't this what your folk were saying about prisons? It's not hard enough. We're making them like country clubs, and now you actually go to jail and see that, hey, it's not the country club you imagined or let yourself believe, that it's actually jail and it's not fun. That now you're going to hear people whining. And I love the fact that she's, every day at 9 p.m. they patriotically say the Pledge of Allegiance after being humiliated and ridiculed. They're traitors. They should be. I hope the people in prison are giving them a hard time. I hope the people who are behind bars are going, man, you really screwed up. This is wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. Just my thought. Now, I wish they would also use some behavior to help us, not have more people dead. For instance, good stuff today. Some good news came out. We've hit the 2 million vaccinated number. That's pretty impressive. Now we're not anywhere near where we need to be, but 200 million is a good number. Now here's the thing. The number of new cases here in the U.S. are going up. In fact, they've gone up from a 95,000 new cases a day on November 22nd to almost 119,000 a week this week. Hospitalizations they say are up 25% more than a month ago. These are all because of the Delta variant. They're saying Omicron coming, but the vast majority is Delta. But Omicron's in 20 states now. At first it was California. They won. They got it first. Now within a couple of days, we're in 20 states. Deaths are climbing, are ticking up again, on average of 1,600 every day. We're on track. We're in the matter of next day or so going to hit 800,000 dead from this. And you go, well, they would have died from something anyway. I don't know. That's one of those things where I'm not that morbid. I would like to believe that they'd had more time and less expense for we the taxpayers and folks who work in hospitals, less trauma for them. And this is where we get into this weird world, because our government is not going to be effective in dealing with this. And I've said for a while, the reality is capitalism is going to have to figure this out. There's going to have to be, carrots and sticks along the way, because our court system's screwed up. Our political system is screwed up. We're in polar opposite camps. Today, for instance, the Senate rejected Biden's vaccine mandate 52-48. You had Manchin and Montana Senator John Tester vote with all 50 Republicans. So there you had a 52-48 repudiation of the mandate. Now, it's not going to pass the House. It's not going to become law. And if they did pass the House, Biden would veto it. But it's hung up in the courts, so it's probably not going to go into effect. And if it does, it's probably not going to happen until after we've had to live through the worst part of what's coming. Because look, everyone who studies this stuff. And I have a listener, a really bright guy, who sends me his predictions for the next couple of months. It's going to get bad. It's going to get bad again. It is what it is. It's the time of year when people get sick and we go indoors and we breathe around people and we do the things we do. It's going to happen because I think most people have gone, oh, well, we're going to move on and we're going to go and we're going to head through it. And that's going to mean more people are going to get sick, more people are going to die. That's going to happen. Whether it's you, whether it's me, depends on how we're going to navigate this. And how employers are going to do it and how capitalism is going to respond. Because government can't seem to do it. We're not going to send out, squads of people to vaccinate folks, hold them down and jab them with the needle. We're not going to do that. I see places that are offering, $1,000 to get vaccinated. Please just get vaccinated. And as I've said before, I've got a relative who's, losing his mind that his insurance went up $1,500 a year because he refuses to get vaccinated. And they said, look, you get the vaccine, your insurance goes back down. This is risk assessment. And, I had a couple people say, well, we should turn them away at the hospitals and we should make them pay their own stuff. And I'm not in favor of that. It's a knee-jerk thing. You go, yeah, maybe. No, it's not. Because this is that slope you go, well, what's next? We went through all of your dietary habits for the last 35 years because you used your credit card and that store card that you get your discounts for, and we found you had a Twinkie and a ding dong, and up there's red meat here. Sorry, you're not covered. You know that's coming. So for me, capitalism will decide. Insurance rates will go up for those folks. They're going to pay higher premiums, higher deductibles. All of that stuff will be part of how possibly we get through this. But, we're in this moment where, again, our political system seems to be all over the place because Biden's trying to do the right thing. And I give him credit for that. Try and do the right thing. Try and, get people in the way of protecting themselves. And if they refuse to, have a system set up to where you go, well, then you're going to be tested and you're going to have to wear a mask and you're going to have to take precautions, which seems sane and rational. This idea that, hey, if you're not going to protect yourself, well, we're going to protect others from you. That seems rational, seems sane. But what Republicans have done is they've gone, well, if the mandate goes into place, well, and people lose their jobs, they're going to be able to collect unemployment. And look, I'm okay with that. But what about me? What about if I don't want to be around the unvaccinated? What if because I work with a bunch of people who refuse to get vaccinated, what if I don't want to be around them? Do I get to then collect unemployment? Oh, no, because you chose not to go into a dangerous environment. It's kind of crazy on how that double thing goes. But interestingly enough, the next variant coming along, this Omicron, according to the CDC, had so far fairly mild. According to Rochelle Walensky, the director of the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, so far limited data, but as far as fairly mild. You're probably going to get through it, especially if you're vaccinated. I know I come back to that, especially if you're vaccinated. Now, there was this big explainer on what's going to happen because the courts have stopped the vaccine mandate. Federal people are going to probably have to comply with it. And that's got folks really unhappy working for the federal government, at least the 4 or 5% that are really the loudest. But in the regular workforce, everything's on hold. Everything's in limbo. And this is not a good place to be, especially as we're walking into the worst months right now. So, as I said, corporations are going to have to decide. And it looks like they are. In places that I've seen, they're raising premiums. They're doing all kinds of stuff because, look, they don't want their workforce to get sick. They don't want to have to shut down their business. It's all about making profit. They don't care about people. Don't get me wrong. They're not benevolent. They're looking at the bottom line. They're looking at the numbers. They're bean counting. And the bean counters are saying, hey, we don't want a wave of sickness through here because it's going to burn up our people's sick time if they have it. It's going to burn up people not coming to work. We're not going to get products out the door. It's bad for business. That's what they care about. They don't care if you get sick. They don't care if you die. They'll just replace you with somebody else if they can find someone. But it's bad for their business. And maybe this is how we get out of this. And I've been saying for a long time, some of us aren't bright enough to get the hint. So interesting enough. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. You can email me, rick@thericksmithshow.com. Some good news today. Joe Biden has unveiled the Building a Better America branding. And I've been saying for a while, Democrats have to do a much, much better job of tooting their own horn when they do the right thing. And look, that bipartisan infrastructure bill, the right thing. And look, if you're a Republican and you voted against it, you need to shut the blank up. I don't want to hear a peep from you when something comes into your district. Nothing from you at all. But a new website has been unfurled. The new website, build.gov. It's a hub for governors, for mayors, for business owners, all kinds of working folks to track where that $1 billion of investment is going. You can find out if it's coming into your backyard. Maybe find out if that road out in front of your house is going to eventually get paved because of the infrastructure bill. And the hope is that this money gets out the door quickly. The jobs start happening. We start seeing that snowball effect, and it starts helping to create the jobs that we desperately need. And we need to do it in a big way. And this is where I keep saying Democrats need to start promoting the work that they do and making the people who walked away from us, Republicans, hold them accountable. Now, what I find laughable is you got the Ronna McDaniels of the world saying, no, voters trust us on the economy. No, you're the reason we're in this mess. Republican policy is the reason that we're in the mess that we're in now. They're the reason that we were unable to respond to some things at the very beginning. And understand, we were heading in the wrong direction for a number of years before the pandemic. Inequality didn't just spring up. A minimum wage that hadn't been raised in 12 years, that didn't just happen under Biden. This is stuff that Republicans have been fighting against for years. Now is the time that people are finally paying attention and going, no, wait a minute, on the economy, every person should be looking at Democrats and going, no, do much better on the economy. In fact, I've got some rich friends who say, no, we always do much better under Democrats. They're actually the business-friendly people, because when capitalism works right, when it's regulated, when it's within the bounds of some reason, everyone does better. When you take off the restraints and you allow capitalism to run wild, what you end up with is monopoly. What you end up with is more rich people sucking all of the gains out of the system. Hence, during the pandemic, what did we get? Well, we got a billionaire class that lined their pockets to the tune of about $2.5 trillion. Wasn't that they were rich enough? No. Had to get that multiple. All at a time when we weren't investing and getting things done. So I think Democrats need to do a much better job. And it's my understanding that this bill.gov, and I suggest taking a look at it. There's some interesting stuff there. This is kind of a way for them to get out and do some sound messaging around moving this country forward. And as I've said a million times, we need this investment desperately. And you go, well, $1 trillion is a lot of money. Well, it is, but it's not. The fact of the matter is, we need this times 4. The American Society of Civil Engineers has been saying for years, we need massive investment. In fact, last time I saw it was like 4.6 trillion that we were going to need to just catch up. So over the next 10 years, we're going to continue to fall behind, even with this level of investment. So while this is good, while this is a step in the right direction, while this is taking us where we need to go, sort of, there's a lot more that needs to be done. And this is where the organizing has to begin for the next round, where we've got to start pushing for better, for more. That's simple. Anyway, we've got a lot to get to today, a lot to talk about. Gerrymandering. A couple of states playing some games with their maps. I know my state of Pennsylvania is trying. Gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna have someone here to talk about, just how bad Ohio is screwing up their maps. Stick around. You're listening to The Rick Smith Show. We're working people. Come to talk.